Are we witnessing the end of an era in Dallas? That's the question on every Cowboys fan's mind right now. With a trade rumor that could completely reshape the future of the Dallas Cowboys, there's a serious buzz around the league, especially in Texas. Dak Prescott, the face of America's team for nearly half a decade, could be on the move, and a staggering $151 million trade deal might just be the catalyst that sends shockwaves through the NFL. What does this mean for Dak? What does it mean for the Cowboys? And what does it mean for the NFL as a whole? Well, let's break it all down, because this news isn't just any trade rumor. It's the kind of headline that could change everything for one of the most iconic franchises in professional football. Dak Prescott's journey with the Dallas Cowboys has been a wild ride. He was drafted in 2016, and from the moment he took over as the starting quarterback, it was clear he was a special talent. His poise, leadership, and skill set made him one of the most promising young quarterbacks in the league. Over the next few years, Dak quickly became the face of the franchise. He led the Cowboys to multiple playoff appearances, breaking records along the way and establishing himself as a fan favorite. The Cowboys' offense seemed to run through Dak, and he was widely considered one of the key pieces to the team's future success. However, for all of his accolades and his regular season success, there's been one major issue: Dak has struggled to take the Cowboys past the divisional round of the playoffs. And when the playoffs come, that's when the real tests begin. As the pressure mounted year after year, fans and analysts began to question whether Dak was truly the quarterback that could lead the Cowboys to the promised land, a Super Bowl. While Dak's numbers have remained strong, and he's certainly shown moments of greatness, his postseason performances have left many wondering if he's the right guy to bring home a title for Dallas. This, of course, has created a growing level of frustration within the fan base and the front office. The Dallas Cowboys have always been an ambitious franchise with high expectations, and with a talent like Dak Prescott, the hope was that this team would not only make the playoffs but go all the way. But year after year, the same problems cropped up: turnovers, missed opportunities, and a team that couldn't seem to win the big game when it mattered the most. So, as we enter 2025, things have come to a head. Rumors about Dak's future with the Cowboys are swirling, and many are wondering if it's time for the team to move on. There's talk about a potential trade, and the numbers being thrown around are massive. $151 million. That's the figure tied to Dak Prescott's contract, and it's the price tag for any team that wants to bring him on board. And for the Cowboys, it might just be time to cut ties and move forward in a new direction. The latest news is that the Cowboys are reportedly open to the idea of trading Dak Prescott, and the rumors are already sending shockwaves across the NFL. With a contract that still has years left on it and the Cowboys potentially facing a crossroads in their franchise's future, it seems like the team might be willing to pull the trigger on a major move. The $151 million deal tied to Dak Prescott is a huge commitment, and any team that takes on that salary will have to make sure it's the right move. But the question remains, who would be willing to make such a massive financial investment in a player who, despite his talent, has yet to prove he can lead a team to the ultimate prize? It's a tough decision for any franchise to make, but there are a few teams in the league that might just be willing to make that leap. One of the first teams that comes to mind as a potential suitor for Dak Prescott is the Indianapolis Colts. The Colts have been struggling at the quarterback position for years now, and while they've had a few decent seasons with veteran quarterbacks like Phillip Rivers and Carson Wentz, they haven't had a long-term answer under center. Dak Prescott could be the piece that Indianapolis needs to get over the hump. With a solid roster, including a strong defense and a top-tier running back in Jonathan Taylor, adding Dak to the mix could make the Colts a real contender in the AFC. Dak's experience and leadership could be just what the Colts need to push them into the next phase of their rebuild. However, the Colts would have to seriously consider whether Dak's inconsistent playoff performances are a risk they're willing to take on. Another team that might be interested in Dak Prescott is the Minnesota Vikings. Kirk Cousins has had a productive career in Minnesota, but his inability to perform in big moments has been a source of frustration for fans and analysts alike. The Vikings have a roster full of talent, with playmakers like wide receiver Justin Jefferson and running back Dalvin Cook, but they've been unable to take that next step to championship contention. A trade for Dak Prescott could provide the Vikings with the kind of leader they need to elevate their team. With a solid defense and an offense full of potential, Dak Prescott could be the quarterback to put the Vikings over the top and finally bring a Super Bowl title to Minnesota. But would the Vikings be willing to part with their own assets and make such a risky move? It's a big gamble, and the future of their franchise could depend on it. Then there's the Miami Dolphins. This one might sound surprising to some, but don't count them out just yet. The Dolphins have been one of the more intriguing teams in the AFC over the past few seasons. With a young quarterback in Tua Tagovailoa, Miami has shown flashes of greatness but has been unable to fully break through. There's still uncertainty surrounding Tua's future with the team, and if the Dolphins feel like they need a more established quarterback to take them to the next level, Dak Prescott could be the answer. The Dolphins have a fast, dynamic offense, and adding Dak's arm and leadership could make them a real threat in the AFC East. But for the Dolphins, making a move for Dak Prescott would be a high-risk, high-reward situation. The financial commitment to Dak's contract would be a significant hurdle, but if Miami feels they're just a quarterback away from contending for a Super Bowl, it might be a risk worth taking. Lastly, we can't forget about the Tennessee Titans. Tennessee has had one of the most balanced teams in the NFL over the past few seasons, with a powerful running game led by Derrick Henry and a defense that can compete with the best. However, their quarterback situation has been less than stellar, with Ryan Tannehill showing both flashes of brilliance and moments of inconsistency. Dak Prescott could be the answer for Tennessee, a veteran quarterback who has experience in high-pressure situations and the ability to lead an offense. The Titans are close, but they need a quarterback who can consistently deliver in the postseason. Dak Prescott might be that guy. But again, taking on his contract would require a significant financial commitment, and the Titans would have to weigh that against the potential rewards. Regardless of which team is the most likely destination for Dak Prescott, one thing is certain: this is a franchise-altering decision for the Cowboys. If the Cowboys go through with this trade, it signals the end of an era. Dak Prescott has been the face of the Cowboys for so long that the thought of trading him is almost unthinkable. But at the end of the day, the NFL is a business, and sometimes tough decisions have to be made. The Cowboys might feel like it's time to move on and find a new quarterback who can take them to the next level. For the Cowboys, this trade would be a massive shift in direction. They would have to build a new team around a new quarterback and figure out what the future holds. They've been stuck in a cycle of playoff disappointments, and while Dak has been a great leader and a talented quarterback, the Cowboys might feel that it's time to make a bold move. The financial commitment to Dak's contract is another major factor. At $151 million, it's clear that Dak is a quarterback the Cowboys have invested a lot of money in. But the question remains, has that investment paid off? If the Cowboys don't feel Dak can get them over the hump, it might be time to cut ties and start fresh. The fan reaction to all of this has been nothing short of emotional. Dak Prescott is beloved by many Cowboys fans, and the thought of trading him is a bitter pill to swallow for some. Others, however, are ready to move on. They've seen enough of Dak's playoff struggles and are hoping for a fresh start. There's no denying that Dak has had a huge impact on the franchise, but the bottom line is this: the Cowboys are in a win-now mode, and if they don't think Dak can get them there, they may have no choice but to move on. The Cowboys could find themselves at a major crossroads, with everything on the line. So, where does this leave us? Is Dak Prescott's time in Dallas really over? Or is this just another rumor that will fizzle out? Only time will tell, but one thing is for sure: the NFL is about to get a whole lot more interesting. Stay tuned, because the drama in Dallas is just getting started.